On this episode of Missouri Life, we flip back the cover of Missouri Life magazine to meet the captivating couple behind its pages and to interview the staff who supports them as they capture the images and tell the heartfelt stories of the Show Me State. All that and more coming up next on Missouri Life. Production support is provided by Missouri Life magazine and by viewers like you. Thank you. Welcome to a very special episode of Missouri Life. I'm your host, Meredith Haynes. Thanks so much for joining us on our journey of discovery as we go behind the pages of Missouri Life magazine. From research and writing to editing and photography, from the best of Missouri Life Market Fair to the publishers themselves. Let's get our journey of discovery underway and find out what it takes to produce Missouri Life magazine.
A man named Bill Nunn actually started the magazine in 1973, and he did a really good job with the content. It was really well respected. He emphasized photography and storytelling, which of course we try to too, but when he became older and ill, it changed hands several times, and it ultimately ended up in the hands of a printer over across the river from St. Louis. And he actually started working with the School of Journalism. So while he owned it and was printing it at his plant, the students provided the editorial. And that is what lured us away from a magazine company where we learned the magazine business, and then we came down here. So I taught at the School of Journalism, and one of my missions was to help develop this magazine. And the students had this problem of they couldn't really get out of mid-Missouri and still attend their classes, and I would never encourage them to skip classes to reach the far parts of the state. And the school didn't own the magazine, so appropriately it didn't want to put money into the publishing side. And the printer did not want to invest in the editorial or circulation. And so Greg and I just kept talking about what a good magazine it could be, what a good magazine it could be. And that's when we reached out to the printer, Paul Adrignola, and made an arrangement with him. And that's when we decided we'd take it over. And so that was in 1999. We started the magazine in the basement of our home then. And so we took over a rec room, a guest bedroom, moved in desks and computers, and we're making the magazine down there.
And then we decided we were growing out of that. So we looked for an office in Fayette because our kids were going to school there, and that just made sense. So we did find an office there, and then the ceiling started falling down. So we decided we better move from that place. So we found another place, and it was a very good place right on the square across from the courthouse, and we had a problem with that building. So we kept looking, and then the economic developer here in Boonville persuaded us to come over to Boonville and look around. And we thought, well, I think the kids were out of school or going to college at that time. So we decided, we'll take a look here, and we found a building that worked, and we stayed there for about 4 years, and we were approached by the owners of the Hotel Frederick here to take over a wing of the hotel that had not been renovated, and we thought it would be a good place. So we renovated that wing with about 11 rooms. It's been a steady growth and a great place for us. It provides us a very creative environment to work in.
One of the things we really liked about the Boonville community was it was so welcoming. All of the business people, the townspeople on Main Street, just residents, random people would come and welcome us to the community. It's a very warm community and welcoming to new people. We have the arrangement with the hotel that we can use all of the public spaces, like this room that we're sitting in, which is a kind of a dining sitting room, and there's conference rooms upstairs that we can use. There's a bar that you can entertain people. Very comfortable, and our people really like working here in Boonville. And they have more dining options, they have more break options. We can walk a half a block up to a little park that overlooks the river. You can walk out on the Katy Bridge to view the river. The Katy Trail is across the street, and some of us over the years take advantage of that at noon, and so it's a great environment to be in.
Since 2011, the Hotel Frederick has been home to Missouri Life magazine. It was built for a grand total of $40,000 in 1905 by Charles Sumbart. He was a local miller and banker and named it after his son. Hotel Frederick has been many things over the years, including a Greyhound bus stop, a weekend restaurant, even a retirement center. After about a decade of dormancy and a $4 million restoration, it was reopened as a boutique hotel in 2007. It has 30 rooms, a fine dining restaurant, meeting space, and even a bike rental for the local Katy Trail. It stands proud as an example of Romanesque revival architecture and is on the National Register of Historic Places.
I grew up on a dairy farm in between Clinton and Warrensburg, and went to high school in Clinton. And it was in Clinton High School that I won a writing contest, a rural electric cooperative writing contest, that the prize was a trip to Washington, D.C. So I really loved that. Growing up on a dairy farm, you don't travel, you don't take vacations, and at least we didn't, because it was one family. And so that was really kind of an introduction to a new world. However, when I came to the University of Missouri, I didn't know what I wanted to do. I spent my first year or two just popping around, taking classes in a lot of different disciplines, which they encourage today. But by the end of my sophomore year, they were urging me to declare a major, and I had no clue what I wanted to do. I remember sitting on the lawn of Ellis Library, crying my eyes out because I didn't know what major to declare. I went back to the dorm, called my mom, and she said, well, you're pretty good at writing. I just read about this thing called ag journalism in a magazine called Missouri Ruralist. And she said, why don't you check that out? And so I went down to that department, met their main advisor, Delmer Hattasall, and that was it. I knew I was home. I just felt so right. It was so right, combining words and pictures and actually also the ability to keep learning about a lot of different things. That's why I didn't want to declare a major. I liked this, I liked that.
I was also wandering around different colleges and in and out of programs, everything. So from arts and sciences to forestry to, I can't even remember something else I was doing, but and then I also reached the point of needing to figure out what I'm going to be doing, what I'm going to major in. And strangely, this is going to sound strangely familiar because I was sitting in a pickup truck with my dad on the farm and trying to figure out what I was going to do. And he said, I just saw this story in Missouri Ruralist about ag journalism. And So I thought, I've always kind of liked to write a little bit, and I've had an interest in photography, and I thought, well, maybe I'll check that out. So I went into the same office that Danita went into, Delmer Hadisall's office, and was encouraged and ended up in the same ag journalism program that Danita was in, and we actually worked together on a publication at the College of Agriculture called Ag Columns.
I think I was the editor of that little newspaper the year they introduced Greg to me as wanting to volunteer on it too, and I do remember it very clearly. He had long blonde hair and down to about here in a big orange backpack, and I was really intimidated because he already had worked for a community newspaper too, and I didn't have that kind of experience level, but that we worked very well as friends. We were actually involved with other people and became good friends, as everyone did who worked on that newspaper, because you spent hours and hours and hours in the evenings down in their basement offices working on it.
And 5 years later, we ended up together at a magazine in Des Moines called Successful Farming, and it was a Meredith publication, and a year later we were married.
We actually work very well together. I don't know too many people who could have their family start a business together, and there were many hard years, and also build a house together too. I hear people split up over that. But he built our house, and so we've done it all and worked very well together.
More than 100 framed covers of Missouri Life magazine line the hallways of the offices here at Hotel Frederick. The only statewide subscription-based magazine boasts a readership of 160,000. 36,000 copies are sent out each month, with nearly 5 readers per copy. But it's not just their printed publications. MissouriLife.com offers users online access to Missouri events, article archives, videos, recipes, travel guides, and more. Their weekly newsletter is emailed out to roughly 22,000 opt-in subscribers. And with a weekly reach of 81,000 Facebook and Twitter impressions, Missouri Life's social media arm provides a deeper audience interaction.
Well, our basic mission statement is to explore and celebrate our state, and that is done by telling stories in a way that is compelling and unique and colorful.
When we plan the magazine, we plan almost a year ahead, because we try to get seasonal photography in the right season if that's important to tell the story. We also try to make sure we have one history story, because we know our readers like that. We try to have one strong travel story, something to go see and visit or do, because people love getting out and about the state, and we like to surprise them with what they don't know they can go do yet. And we try to have different departments that are always in there. We always have a food story, a Missouri chef, a Missouri food producer, and then recipes usually associated with that. We also do include made in Missouri products. We include a Missouri artist. Then a few of our features are kind of what we call open, and they usually have elements of history and travel, because we tend to view things or tell our stories. History may be important to many of the stories, but they're just open topics that whatever we wish we can include. We have writers and photographers all across the state, really talented people.
Terrific.
Once we have a story idea, if it's our story idea, we choose a writer for it. We assign them to it. We talk it over with our writers about the approach we want them to take, but we also tell them we're open. If they get there and there's a better approach, we're all ears and open to those things. So our writers know it's a collaborative process. Then we start marrying that with the artwork. At the same time that we plan the words, we plan how will we approach this story for photographs. Sometimes we use illustrations, but more often than not, we like photography. And so we will frequently assign a photographer at the same time, or we'll know we can get the photography later. So at that point, we start making sure we've got our artwork in hand. Then it goes to a copy editor and proofreader who's on our staff. She massages the words and makes sure that everything's following our style, everything's totally clear, that we don't have big holes in the story that questions we forgot to answer or anything. And then she moves the story to a designer who then takes the artwork and the words that we give them, and that's where we get new input. They'll think of artwork that we had not thought of, and they'll bring their creativity to telling the story too. Really, other people make this magazine and they do a stunning job of it. I'm more like a quality control person who just makes sure everything fits for our readers. Sometimes I'll think of new things we can add that can enhance a package, and then we might add that to the pages. But really, our staff does such a good job that I'm really just kind of proofing and making sure that with our long history with our readers that we're delivering them the best package that can happen.
Our whole staff and team firmly believe that there'll always be a demand for a quality product, and that might change somewhat in terms of the medium that that product is delivered, and that means that product for us products are the stories we tell, and that can be told in different ways. Obviously, television is one, and then of course the web. But we still believe firmly that print has a very strong future if it's delivering a quality story.
We really try to deliver a good product to the reader. That's what we care about. That's our passion, to deliver a high quality, to tell stories the best way we know how.
Missouri Life magazine is a 5-time International Regional Magazine Association Magazine of the Year award winner. It was for 2008, 2013, 15, 16, and again in 2017. The Missouri Life television show received the Navigator Media Award at the 2018 Governor's Conference on Tourism. It's given to a media outlet that promotes tourism in Missouri and its importance to the state's economy. The program is produced by KMOS TV, the PBS station for Central Missouri. The program has also been nominated for 5 Emmy Awards for the episodes on Columbia, Excelsior Springs, Silver Dollar City, Callaway County, and Cape Girardeau. KMOS TV brought home the Mid-America Regional Emmy Award in 2017 for the Silver Dollar City episode, and in 2018 for Callaway County.
For Missouri Flavor this week, we're here at Powell Gardens in Kingsville, Missouri, for the best of Missouri Life Market Fair, where artisans and craftspeople have gathered to showcase their talents.
Well, we decided to partner with Powell Gardens because we thought it would be a beautiful place in the early spring, and we lucked out with sunshine and no rain or clouds today. We've been really happy with the turnout of both our artists and artisans, as well as the people coming in to see everyone. And we think it's a great format to share all of these fine products and art that Missourians make with each other.
And that's really what it's about, showcasing Missouri made products. And there's a pride thing there. You know, we're proud of our Missouri products. We have world-class products here, and we're excited that we had such a great turnout. And
you know, the most exciting part is that it really does take the pages of the magazine and makes them come alive.
We decided, Nathan's been woodworking his whole life as a hobby, and we decided to go into business for ourselves. And we make a lot of toys and games, and we have machines that do the carving and some of the work. But everything you see on our tables was made by Nathan and made right in our shop right next to our house. We try to use local woods as much as possible, so all of the wood that we use in our products comes from 2 different sawmills that are within half an hour of our shop. So that's another thing that makes our products unique. We look around and see kids on their phones and playing video games and families just watching TV, and we decided to focus on making products that really connect people.
Well, the name of our business is The Bent Tree, and I've always been interested in creating and art. And in the early 80s, I saw a picture of a willow chair in Mother Earth News, and I was determined I wanted to make one of those. And so I went out and gathered some willow along the river and brought them back. And about 3 days later, I'd created a chair. And I knew right then that I wanted to do this. And so I've never stopped making those, and I've branched out into all kinds of things made out of willow now. Within a year of that first chair, I was selling to designers and art galleries, and it just mushroomed. I do bookends all the way up to canopy beds, everything in between. And one of the things I enjoy making right now is wall art, or wallscapes I call it. And they're much more modern. They're free form. There's no particular form. A lot of times when I begin one, I'm not even sure what it's going to look like until it's done. And I love to do those.
We actually got started, one of my business partners' boyfriend's friends, they all came over playing games. We started making apple butter. The guys stole it. They both had 2 quarts in both of their pockets. One of the guys worked at Worlds of Fun and took it in, was eating it for lunch, and the guys were like, "What in God's earth are you eating?" He goes, "Fine, here's a little dibble for each one of you." Started taking orders, and unbeknownst to us, started our business that way. And then we bought Granola Jones. It was formerly Hippie Chow, and we bought that back in 2013. We make apple butter, fruit spread, and granola. So we start out with our fruit spread. We just use fruit sugar and pectin, and then our butters are just apples, sugar, and the spices. The granolas, in all of our products, we try to source locally as possible. The granolas is just the base with oats, honey, which is a local honey, brown sugar, and then whatever the nut or the spice would be as well.
So my husband and I own and operate ASL Pewter in St. Genevieve, Missouri, and we make pewter. We do everything from salt spoons and Christmas ornaments to punch sets and soup tureens. We've been doing this for almost 25 years, and everything we do is out of 100% lead-free pewter, so it's all food safe. We do a lot of traditional designs, but we do a lot of artistic pieces as well. There are a lot of fine artists in Missouri, and a lot of people don't know about it. So having an opportunity to gather, having a spring show is kind of nice because there aren't that many of them, just from an artist point of view. And for those of us where this is how we make our living, being able to gather together and to have also the additional elements of the food booths and the wine booths, which bring their own audiences, is really, really important. It's part of, this is how we make our living. So it's part of what we need to have in order to be successful in what we do. So I really appreciate it. And we've known Danita and Greg for years. So we were happy to be able to support them in this first-time event.
It's really nice having Missouri Life having an event like this. It allows all of us to camaraderie. It's a great networking event. In the mornings and the evenings, we can get together and meet people if you haven't met them, or it's like a reunion if you have. And it's great for mid-Missouri people to be able to come out. There's other events that's throughout the state that brings a lot of us together, but we've never had an event over here, and Powell Garden is a beautiful choice.
We hope you've enjoyed this short peek into the history, people, craftsmanship, and flavors of Missouri Life magazine. For everyone at KMOS TV, Missouri Life magazine, and myself, thanks for watching, and tune in next time to spark your spirit of discovery and experience Missouri Life. More information is available on social media or online at kmos.org. Production support is provided by Missouri Life magazine. Missouri Life magazine explores and celebrates the people, places, history, and destinations that make our state unique. Subscription information for Missouri Life magazine can be found online at missourilife.com. And by viewers like you. Thank you.